all right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to this edition of the Wayne Hall Show. It's such a pleasure to have you on a very wonderful, rainy, but nonetheless wonderful Atlanta evening. Yes, want to say welcome on all platforms. That's right, we are streaming on multiple platforms as we speak. Want to say big shout out to islandworldwide.com, China Nicole and the crew. Good evening, welcome. Clarke TV Network, good to have you. HypeFM Radio, HypeFM, the right FM, Frankie Lex and the team. Fresh FM Radio London, Mr. Rudy Page and the crew, and also reggaevibesradio.com, viscosityblend.com, and soon on the WayneHallShow.com. What a great show we have lined up for you this evening. We are saluting women right here on the Wayne Hall Show. And in order to have done that, we needed to have some women on the show tonight. Just, basically hand them the platform and pay tribute to what they've done to our society. I wrote recently that, women are a cornerstone of where I am in life. From my mother, my sisters, to my wife, my daughters, and so many other great women I've met in my life, whether it's teachers, co-workers, and, in so many ways. And so it's truly a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, this evening to bring you this show. So I'm going to go over to my guests. You're not seeing them right now, but they're all here, and I'm so happy to share. I'm about to go over. Good evening, Natalie. Welcome. All right. We're going to go over to my guests, and we're going to get going this evening with what will truly be a great conversation. All right, so here we go. Over to Zoomland, and on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, hosted by Jannice O'Shea. She's no stranger, long time co-host, first time Zoomer.
Hello, Wayne. Hello.
I had to say that.
Hello, listeners.
Let me switch my headphones so I can hear my guests. Yes, Jannice. I called it out.
Good night. Good night, Wayne.
All right. Good night, Jannice. But ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce my panel to you tonight. We have, and let me go over to my Zoom screen here so I can highlight, okay, when I'm speaking. Okay, let me pin. Okay, introducing Reverend Dr. Maxine Osborne Foster, who spends much of her time as the operations manager at Center for Pain and Rehab Medicine in Stockbridge, Georgia, as a licensed minister, Christian religion, and clinical pastoral counselor. She's also actively engaged in providing counseling services to those in need, focused on marriage, family, crisis, and abuse therapy. She was born and raised in St. Thomas, Jamaica, and is a proud graduate of the Mortgagae High School. After migrating to the U.S. in 1989, she continued her studies overseas, ultimately achieving an MBA in finance from Montclair State University and a Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Christian Counseling, magna cum laude, from Cornerstone University. She is married to pain management specialist Dr. D. Terence Foster and enjoys traveling, audiobooks, writing, ministering, and mentoring. Welcome, Reverend Dr. Maxine Osborne Foster. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne, and good evening to all our listeners this evening. It's my pleasure.
That's right. Moving on, let me see here. Let's see. Okay. I got it unpinned. Back to gallery. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to introduce Dr. Daima Longman, a tenured associate professor, and let me pin her as well. Here we go. And in the Department of Mathematics, computer science and engineering at Perimeter College of Georgia State University. Her research interests center on exploring issues of race, gender, immigrant, and ethnicity in mathematics, teaching, and learning. Good evening and welcome, Dr. Longman. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. And it's a pleasure being on the show tonight. Looking
That's
forward to a wonderful conversation with some fantastic women.
there you go. All right. So, all right, let's move to next we have Miss Suzette Arnold. So let me find Suzette and pin her while I introduce her. There we go. All right. Um, President Suzette Arnold is president of the Jamaican Chamber of Commerce of Atlanta, JAMSHAM. Community involvement includes a profession as public service faculty at the University of Georgia. Also serve as the chairperson for a charter school in Decatur, DeKalb County. Visiting professor of economics, college here in Georgia. Serves on the board of Atlanta Montego Bay Sister Cities, co-chair of the Youth Ambassadors Program. She's passionate about issues affecting women. She loves to curl up with a good book and travel. All right, welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. All right. You're muted. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. And moving on with
Good evening,
the
everybody.
introduction.
Had to be me, right? It's a pleasure for me to be here to share this platform with these phenomenal women. I'm looking forward to a real robust conversation, and I feel like I know these ladies already. We've had a chance to work in the past, and I'm just honored to be here with them this evening. So, good evening, everybody.
That's right. Welcome again. And then we have Miss Jaquel Tucker. Let me pin Miss Jaquel Tucker. There she is. Jaquel is from the rural community of Higginsland, St. Anne. After graduating from Westwood High School in 1989, she was awarded a full academic scholarship to the University of Maine, where she earned a degree in hotel, restaurant management, and tourism. Her career spanned working as a supervisor at the Jamaica Tourist Board office to a director of sales and marketing at various hotels in the USA. She's an entrepreneur, launching her nonprofit, the Jamaica Project USA, in 2016, and is currently a principal and the VP of Sales, Marketing, and Revenues for her hotel management company, New Dimension Hospitality, headquartered in Destin, Florida. She published her first book, It's Time for Your Transition, in 2019, was one of the 100 women in the USA featured in the 2020 release of the Unselfish Woman Coffee Table book. During the pandemic, she has helped numerous individuals transition to a new career path, including launching their own business. She lives by, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, end quote, Philippians 4, verse 13. Welcome, Mrs. Tucker. It's good to have you. All right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Our
Great to be here.
distinguished host, ladies and gentlemen, is Miss Jannice O'Shea. Miss Jannice O'Shea has
Good
been
evening, ladies.
here a while on the Wayne All platform as host of the Caribbean Infotainment Report. Well, she's our host this evening, and I'm happy to turn the conversation over to Miss Jannice.
Thank you, Wayne. Hello, ladies. It's so great to have you on the platform this evening. I just feel like we haven't seen each other for years. It's so good to see you. So this evening, what we're about to do is just get into saluting and honoring women. Today is the last day of Women's History Month, and we just want to close out with all you accomplished ladies. Our first question, and I will ask that Jaquel starts off the evening. And this one is, how do each of you summarize the historical growth of women? What stands out to you and who stands out to you? And what is the most significant form or the area of growth for women? Jaquel, I'll kick off and throw it out to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I think I'll just go ahead and combine all my answers because I could spend the whole night on this one question. Very good question. And, you know, two words I'd use to describe how far we've grown is exceptionally encouraging. You know, we've come a long ways, but still have even further to go, but we've made really great strides. So you're talking about women, you know, way back centuries ago being looked at as just the caretaker of the home and the family while the men went off to work. Now you go through time and you land in 2021 where we are right now, And you're finding women, some of them are the main breadwinners for their homes. They are CEOs of major companies. You know, you're talking about Best Buy, General Motors, and the list goes on and on. You're also talking about the first female, you know, vice president for the greatest free nation in the world, to the United States. We've also had a Jamaican woman prime minister. So when you look at those strides, you know, really how far we've come, it is very encouraging, because we continue to stand on the backs of those who have gone before us. And, you know, here we are now. Even economically, we're starting to have such a great impact, not just our spending dollars, but a great area of growth for us has also been entrepreneurship. When you take a female like Jamie Lee Kerma, who's built IT cosmetics in her living room and sold it for $1 billion in cash to L'Oreal and became the first female CEO. So these are all women that really embody, you know, how far we can go. You know, the glass ceiling is being shattered. I don't think it's completely it, as we can see. But, you know, I would say all of it, not everything is perfect. But when you look at how we started out as women and where we are today, we've really, really made a great impact.
Thank you, Jaquel. Yes, you're correct. The ceiling is broken, but not completely shattered. Thank you. I'll go next to Dr. Foster. Thanks, Jaquel.
Thank you.
Well, yes, I do agree with, you know, many of what Jaquel had said. And we look at women over the centuries, you know, coming up. We have made some changes, and we have made a lot of progress from the days when we were just a thing, we were a piece of property owned by, you know, our spouses or husbands. So we have come a long way in terms of, you know, actually being able to become educated, being able to work and actually keep our money that we work. There centuries ago, you know, that money would have to be handed over to whoever was in charge, and usually we know that it was male dominated when it comes to things like that. You know, I look at many faces going back into the 16th century, and when I'm going through and I'm seeing all these women making strides in various areas and being the first and the first and the first, and it wasn't until I hit like 18 in the 1800s, in the 1850, when I hit Harriet Tubman, you know, the first African American woman, and then I didn't hit anybody again until like 1954 with a young lady named Joelle Prestige, who got African American woman who completed her doctorate in political science. So you know, women have been making strides, but you know, African American women still seems to have been lagging behind. And I see that, you know, back going to wartime, when the men were off, women actually got an opportunity to jump into the economy and to fill those gaps. And so, you know, we were there keeping the economy going, keeping things going. And, you know, they came back from war and they kick us out and they send us back home, you know, that to go do domestic work, you know, that type of thing. But we have made such great strides. We've seen many in recent times. We think of, you know, even Hillary Clinton. I think everybody in her time thought she was going to break through the glass ceiling, being the first president of this country. It didn't happen. But in 2020, 2021, we have a woman vice president. And, you know, I would say in this climate that, you know, Vice President Harris does stand out to me as the first female vice president in the U.S., the first female president of the U.S. Senate. And I think she represents kind of what America looks like, you know, a melting pot of sorts, Jamaican, Asian, African, immigrant, and now married to an American. It's really like a melting pot. It brings a lot of diversity of cultures, and she kind of looks like me.
There you
so,
go.
That's
so that brings us further up the ladder, but I don't think we're still there yet. We still have some more miles to go, but we're really making impacts.
Thank you, Reverend Max. I like that span that you highlighted from Harriet Tubman, because just the thought that it took that long.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 4 remarkable, extraordinary women on the panel, the all-woman panel, and we are gonna move to Suzette next.
Okay, so I guess I certainly concur with both Jekyll and Dr. Foster, and fully acknowledge that I too stand on the shoulder of giants. There are so many women who fought the good fight before, our era, and they have done a tremendous job in trying to put forth the idea that women's rights are human rights, and that women deserve the right to be able to vote, to earn a living. We're still fighting for equal pay. But there are so many women. What comes to mind for me is Amelia Earhart, who crossed the Atlantic in an airplane in 1928. That was a remarkable feat for a woman, and she did that by herself. There are women who fought for adult suffrage, the Susan B. Anthony's, the Lucy Stone, the Ida B. Wells. Those women before us stood in the front and took the hits literally. I mean, some people had the scars to show it, to fight for the rights for women. And I think you're correct when you say that we have broken the ceiling, but not necessarily shattered it. And we do have a far way to go. Who stands out for me are women leaders in my era. Growing up, those women inspired me. The Indira Gandhi, the first female prime minister in India. That was a large nation of 1 billion people, and she was the first female prime minister. Someone mentioned in Jamaica's first female prime minister, but we also had the Iron Lady and the Margaret Thatcher, who stood up to those men in parliament in the UK. And there are so many other women who have come behind those women, who recognize that women do have a place at the table and should be given the opportunity to do that. What's most significant for me for growth is that women are standing firm and realize that the people who make the decisions make the change. And so now women are getting into politics, and because of policy making, women are now, especially here in the United States, recognizes that they can make decisions around policy that correct some of the wrongs that were happening over the years to affect policy changes. And that for me is significant. I can see that in some of the young women who are now serving the United States Capitol in DC. AOC comes to mind. She is a powerful woman, left-leaning, yes, but forthright in her thinking and has a voice for those who are voiceless. And so I think that the fact that we do have CEOs, there are 36 CEOs who are female right now for Fortune 500 companies. And that's good, but there are so many more CEOs that we need to have. And they need to be from all backgrounds and from all shapes and sizes, so that you can have the full representation of women in leadership positions in corporate and all over. Who I admire, Oprah Winfrey, for standing firm in a space where women, let alone a minority woman, could stand up in Hollywood and own her own studio. And I think that is significant, not just because she is minority, but for women regardless. And I think that is awesome. I love the idea that you have women in non-traditional spaces. You have women that are working in construction now and who are doing well. Right here in Atlanta, we just had someone who owns her own construction company and has her electrical license and is a part of the brotherhood of electricians, even though she is female. And I think that is significant. It says a lot that she is female and she's shoulder to shoulder with men wearing a hard hat and boots on a construction site. And she owns her own construction company. And so those are some of the things that just make me have a lot of hope. And like Jaquel, I'm encouraged that we're pushing forward. And we recognize now, I believe, and feel very strongly about this, that we recognize that we're stronger together as women than we are when we try to take things on by ourselves.
Awesome. I'm loving the fact that you have named so many agents of change. Just hit it. It hit us when we hear all those names and think about what they are doing, not just women of the past, but you're bringing it forward. Thank you, Suzette. I will now throw the same question to Dr. Dahima Longman. Thank you for joining us as well. Another phenomenal woman here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Thank you. Sometimes I don't quite know how to react to that, but I'm growing into recognizing comments like that. So thank you so much. I decided to approach this.
One moment, Dahima, sorry to interrupt. Wayne is working on getting you up. I would rather have you focused before we start.
Okay, she's up.
Oh, I'm up.
Okay, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes, we're hearing you.
Well, I decided to approach this really from an educational stance in terms of the growth that women have made throughout history. I think I did a report back in 2016, and let me put it this way. The percentage of women in college now has surpassed the percentage of men in college.
Really?
So we have made tremendous strides throughout history. We have grown. I think Spelman is just now celebrating the fact that they have broken their own record of having the most women to apply to that institution. And so in the space of education, we are making tremendous strides. But I think each of the women on the panel talked about the fact that the ceiling has been broken, but there's still so much work to do. Where there are lots of pockets, areas that needs ironing out, where we still have to figure out how to bring equality in those spaces. Despite the fact that the percentage of women surpass the percentage of men in college, there are still issues such as textbooks. I think this is what I was going to start off with, that in 2016, I did a book review. It's called Inventing the Mathematician. And I made the same argument that despite, more women being in college than men, there are still issues such as textbooks that will, if they're describing career spaces such as an astronaut or a pilot or an engineer, somehow the narrative or the application of those problems seem to gear toward a masculine tone.
Okay.
Versus if the career space that's being mentioned is a teacher or a nurse, the tone is more feminine. So despite the fact that we have so many women in college, there are still pockets that need ironing out. Textbooks are one of the biggest ones right now that they're trying to go in and making sure that it is neutral in terms of the career space. Because Susan mentioned, she said 36 CEOs in Fortune 500 companies. That's too low.
Right.
Definitely.
Low when we have so many women graduating from college.
Yes, yes.
It is too low. So there's so many career spaces, groundbreaking career spaces that women have yet to enter. And it's because we're steered toward, from if my 7-year-old and my 12-year-old are reading textbooks and they're seeing, oh, certain people do get to be astronauts and certain people do get to be nurses. and these books are training them from a younger age where they're supposed to stay, then that's why there's only 36 women in Fortune 500 companies, because there's still so many areas that we need to sort out. So yes, we have made tremendous strides, and I think we will continue to do so. But it's the what I'm saying, the devil is in the detail. It's them little
minute,
fine, and iron out those little pockets and introduce women to those career spaces, so that 36 can flip to 63 and then multiply by another 36. You understand? There's so many
mathematician. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
We have made tremendous strides in not only education, in business, entrepreneurship, as we've mentioned. We've made strides in medicine. We've made strides in the economy, in politics. We can see those spaces, but it's the spaces that we're not seeing that we still need to highlight and introduce more women to, so that it's not a matter of counting the first woman to accomplish this and the first woman to do that and the first Black. I'm so tired of these firsts.
Okay.
It needs to be that we have roadmaps for women, not the first. We have multiple roadmaps and pathways to get to different areas in career. So we have a heap of work to do.
Wow.
Yes.
Very passionate. Wow.
Dr. Longman, I like the fact that you tapped in on the gender bias, the way that Suzette mentioned the inequality. And now as we go to some breaks, Wayne, right? We're going to a break.
Yes,
you can take a sip of water.
Okay.
And we will be right back. Thank you, ladies.
That's right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are locked in to the Wayne Hall Show, I want to say thank you to these wonderful ladies. You're not seeing them right now. We'll be back with them shortly. I just want to welcome everyone on all platforms: Fresh FM Radio, HypeFM Radio, Clarke TV Network, IslandWorldwide.com, Reggae Vibes Radio, Viscosity Blend, TheWayneHallShow.com. Thank you for joining us. What a great conversation as we salute women here in Women's Month as it wraps up today on The Wayne Hall Show. Let me just go down quickly and say welcome Natalie Lawrence, good to see you. Nanamus Osborne, good evening, welcome. Michelle Hanniford Hall, hello First Lady. All right, I see Maxine Osborne Foster, Natalie Lawrence, all watching. Ursula Johnson, Heather Mawat Allen, Kathleen Cowan, Carmen Williams, Val Ferguson, D. Terrence Foster, and Wesley Graham, Hyacinth Douglas, Christine Lee, Joyce Hall, China Nicole, and Kim Pronacio. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Try to shout out everybody there and those in Radioland as well. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with our wonderful panel.
Caribbean International Shipping Services is your one-stop shop for all your shipping needs. Conveniently located at 3048 Miller Road, Lithonia, Georgia. We know all about the Caribbean and cargo. Our wide range of services includes weekly ocean and air services, empty barrels and boxes for sale, packing and crating, specialized returning resident services, personal and commercial shipping, door-to-door, local delivery and pickup, money transfers, and shop and ship. With services by land, air, and sea, you need to call Caribbean International Shipping Services today at 770-323-1111 or visit their website at info@mycaribship.com. At Caribbean International Shipping, we know all about the Caribbean and cargo.
Hi, my name is Jennifer A. Blanc. I am a mortgage broker and attorney at law for more than 21 years. My entire life has been dedicated to the real estate industry. So stop dreaming about buying that property. Let my ability to secure financing within as little as 11 days work for you. For that best rate, fast close financing option, call 1-800-466-0664. That's 1-800-466-0664. Or visit rapidmortgageloans.me. Visit rapidmortgageloans.me for your pre-approval and to request a quote for financing. Thank you.
Victoria Mutual Building Society is opening the door to more financial opportunities in Jamaica for you with our VMBS representative office in Florida. We're pleased to give Jamaicans and Caribbean nationals easy access to our full range of financial solutions, including savings products at competitive rates and opportunities for home ownership. Call us today at 305-770-2643 or visit us at the Sienna Shops, Miramar.
Western Union is here for you. Available 24/7. The Western Union app and website will let you send money from the comfort of your home straight to your loved ones. With Western Union, you can send money to all commercial banks in Jamaica. For fast and convenient service, tell your receiver in Jamaica to register their bank account by visiting gkmsonline.com or the nearest Western Union location to receive money directly into their bank accounts. For more information, call 305-608-6325. Services may be provided by Western Union Financial Service Inc. NMLS number 906983. And or Western Union International Services, LLC, NMLS number 906985, which are licensed as money transmitters by the New York State Department of Financial Services. See terms and conditions for details.
That's right. Wow, what would we do without sponsors? And I gotta say, big shout out to Up Top Roofing. Up Top Roofing is the home of the free 5-point inspection. What do we mean by 5-point inspection? They look at your siding, soffit, fascia. It's not just your roof, okay? Your gutters as well. So it's your roof, siding, gutters, fascia, and soffit. Call them 470-269-1688. That's 470-269-1688. Up Top Roofing for all your roofing needs. Welcome to this side of the Wayne Hall Show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to delay this anymore. This conversation is way too great for me to miss any of it. So I'm going to take you right back to these ladies. All right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, our panelists are, and I'll tell you real quickly, it's Reverend Dr. Maxine Osborne Foster. We have Miss Jaquel Tucker. We have Dr. Daima Longman and Miss Suzette Arnold. Here we go. Jannice, it's back over to you. Let me come on in, zoom in, and make it gallery. There we go. All right, Jannice, it's all yours.
We're all still here, ladies. Welcome back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you hearing me, Wayne?
Yes, loud and clear. You're great.
I didn't get a response, I thought.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We're all muted.
Are you back refreshed and ready to go again?
Yeah.
I'm going to switch it up this time, Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
I'm switching up my order for the second question.
Okay.
So let me give these to the ladies. I'm hearing quite often that a woman's biggest challenge is another female. That being said, what are the key obstacles facing women today? Are women all marginalized? And is there gender bias and inequality really facing us women? Let's go. We're starting off with Reverend Max.
Biggest challenge is another woman. I don't know about that. Okay. For me personally. I think if that was the case, I probably wouldn't be part of this panel today because I would listen to, all the negative and the stereotypes.
There you go.
So I definitely don't find myself, I'm singing my own tune, so to speak. Obstacle facing women, we like we've all said so far, we've made some progress. But sexism, racism, discrimination, economic inequality, equal access to opportunities, to pay. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I mean, even a thing as the lack of respect for caregiving, I remember over 30 odd years when I first came here, very quickly I learned that I am a woman. I learned that I am also a Black woman, and I learned that I have an accent. Right? So I kind of started out having like 3 strikes, because it was you know, people look at you differently, they treat you differently, and as you move up into corporate America, sometimes these things you know, cause you to be held back. And I find that also those things also demoralizes women, especially in organization. You know, think about a woman who is there, who knows her job, knows what she's doing it to the best of her ability. Maybe her boss left and they said, okay, you know, you're gonna take over this until we get, you know, someone or whatever. And, you know, you're saying, well, and you may have even approached them and says, you know, I'm interested in this position. And 2 months later, they may bring in a, you know, a male, you know, most times a white male. And then, you know, guess what? They expect you to teach him the job. Right? How demoralizing is that for us as women? And those kind of emotions that, you know, plays into the work environment may even decrease, you know, your productivity, because, you know, all these stereotypes does take a toll on women emotionally. When you think of other obstacles, you think of the betrayal of cheating partners. You know, that takes a big emotional toll on many women. And it's not just about sex or anything. We're talking about the emotional disconnect between, you know, the partners. Are women being still marginalized? I mean, absolutely. I definitely think that they are. And, you know, society continues to put these, you know, constraints on us. And I found something that was kind of surprising. I didn't think about this, but it talks about us women actually teaching our children the inequalities that later on shows up in our adulthood, because they don't treat children the same way. You know, the boys can run outside, play, hang out with their friends, but the girl have to stay inside, do the cooking, do the this, do the that, whatever. Right? So that inequality kind of starts, and that gender, you know, discrimination kind of starts at a very young age with us. So there are gender biases, there are inequalities facing women. You know, we still have the dominance of men in the workplace, powerful positions. You know, many times we don't see the female in those positions, and the organizations, they are dominated by men, and because us women are being marginalized, you know, preventing from holding those positions. So definitely, and most women who also get discriminated at the workplace, maybe because of gender. Think about you as a woman, right? And you know, I actually came across something and I was laughing about it, because there were some men who would not want women to be on their team because, you know, during the month PMS, and they don't want to deal with it. And I'm like, seriously? You know, so just those kind of, you know, little biases and little discrimination can really upset the apple cart, so to speak. And often, you know, it does demoralize and it discourages women from working. Think of women who are the carrier of the other lives that are around. Without them, we wouldn't be here, right? But they can't get maternity leave, or they have to, you know, be back to work in record time. You know, it's really very troubling. We do want to make our contribution to the workforce, especially, but also, you also have to help us, meaning the men have to help us, with this type of situation. What happens when we are marginalized? Low self-esteem, our self-confidence is diminished. It reduces the role model that we may have in our community. We don't see any astronauts, we don't see any women pilot. When there's one, it's a big excitement and the whole world is talking about it. It should be commonplace, right? So there's so many things that are still out there that does need fixing. Domestic violence against women. When you think about that, women are being attacked at a higher rate than men. When you think of sexual assault, who are being assaulted, it's us again, the women. And you talk about even child bride. I mean, kids who are being married off before time. So all these things, while we are making progress, we still have these biases. And, and hopefully as we move through this life, that we can become more effective, and we can get our men to actually partner with us and help us to really get rid of this stigma and this, all of the things about, where our place is. Look, we are still doing it. We're working, we're cooking, we're cleaning, we're everything. We're in the boardroom, we're everywhere, right? So we can do it. So help us out, man.
Yes, we can. Reverend Max, you did that. Okay, speaking of powerful women in today's time, Suzette, you're up.
Oh, this is a great question. I really thought about this for a long time, because there are some small nuances that oftentimes we overlook as women, because we're conditioned to move past things and get on to the next. And often, when is enough that you stop to make sure that, wait a minute, this is not right. I don't want to deal with that anymore. And so the question becomes, are women being mistreated and marginalized? Absolutely. Dr. Foster pointed to those things. There's human trafficking that oftentimes has, involves young women and young girls. We know that there's violence against women, but there are subtle things like the inequity in medicine, where women sometimes are being misdiagnosed or ignored when they go to the doctor. There's the equal pay issue. We see that every day around. When you look at the United States soccer team, who doesn't have the record the women's soccer team does, but they make 5 times the amount of money that the women's soccer team does. Yeah. You see it in education. But there is a point that Dr. Foster made that I've been blessed. I'm not sure how that happened, but I've been blessed to be raised in a family with strong women who didn't kind of let me think that women had a place. And so I'm fortunate enough to be, I don't cook, don't judge me. I know how to make some things to keep me alive, but I am Jamaican and I don't know how to make all the Jamaican dishes. Don't judge me, like I said, okay? But I can make enough to stay alive. Let's just leave it at that. But the bottom line is, I have been fortunate enough to be married to a man who's really supportive, and he can cook and he does it better than me. And we kind of balance each other out. And I was also raised in a family that made me realize it wasn't a crime to not be someone who knew their way around the kitchen, and that it was okay to be just as bright as a boy and wanted to reach for things that boys did. And so that's sort of how I'm wired. I'm not wired to think that my role as female is for me to be in one place doing one particular thing. And so I think it is important, as we are raising our goddaughters or nieces or nephews or children, that we make them realize that it is okay to be who you are and to go into non-traditional spaces. And to recognize when something is a little off and to speak out about it. And one of the ways that I think we can do that is to not only train our girls to do that, but to have our boys recognize and respect women and respect when something is off, for as men to speak out about it as well. I mean, women, right now, I'm thinking about what's going on in our environment and how women are adversely being affected. When I think of our current situation in the pandemic, and I recognize that women, there are 5.4 million women who lost their jobs in the pandemic. Just think about that. And as of December of 2020, there were 156,000 jobs that were lost, and 100% of those jobs were lost by women. That type of inequity is alarming. Now, it doesn't mean that those women were not skilled. It doesn't mean that all those jobs were lost because the business closed down. It meant that someone made a choice in some of those jobs to release women of the position because they didn't think it was worthy for them to remain in those positions. And that is what our society feels comfortable with. And we as women have to have our collective voices speak up and speak out about issues such as those, and to ensure that the younger generation that is coming up not settle when you see or you observe those kind of inequities, but to talk out about it and to take shape where it is not tolerated, and you do everything you can to exact the change that will provide the equity and the equality that women deserve to have.
Yes, thanks for that, Suzette. It really stood out to me as well when Reverend Max mentioned our children. Mm-hmm. Everything that you have covered, and just to say to you, if you were not raised a certain way, you would not be the strong woman you are today.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Up next is Dr. Longman Dahima. Thank you.
Hello again. I looked at this question as far as a woman being another woman's channel. I said, if Jannice write this, Jannice, I try banter somebody, you know.
I love the responses I'm getting though. We gotta talk.
I agree with Dr. Foster. I don't think that a woman's biggest obstacle is another woman. They may be an obstacle, but not the
big, exactly.
And Dr. Foster mentioned pretty much all the litany of isms and phobias and patriarchy and all that I was going to mention. But I will say that I do think, and as far as I'm concerned, so I can only speak from my stance, that I'm emerging from my biggest obstacle being myself. Mm-hmm. In that, and this is outside, so I'm saying myself and society. And myself is in terms of the doubt that I carried, in that I was either told, whether directly or indirectly, that I wasn't good enough, mm-hmm. and I believed it. Or that I didn't belong in a space, and I believed it. So my biggest obstacle is myself, in that I doubt my worth, mm-hmm. right? My biggest
challenge is you, yes.
Susan mentioned settle. We settle. I settled for getting lower pay, knowing I was worthy of more.
Exactly.
I didn't anymore settle for a relationship that was no longer serving me, that was bringing out love out of me. I no longer settled for that, right? And so we settle for things sometimes. I think in other times we carry fear. Knowing God have our back, and all we have to do sometimes is have just a little, what them say, the mustard seed of faith. Yeah. But we carry fear. I carried fear, in that I was fearful of even finishing my PhD. I was afraid of doing that at one point in time, right? I carry fear. People carry fear. Jacquel, I remember calling her and saying, can I come and talk to you? because I have this nonprofit idea that I've been sitting on for a while and I am afraid to launch it. And she said, and Jaquel sat with me at a coffee, was it Starbucks? And we talked about not being afraid to do it, and I did it. So
and you called a woman. You called another woman.
Called another woman, definitely not an obstacle. So sometimes our obstacles are ourselves,
yes,
not necessarily another woman. But I also think, as Dr. Foster mentioned, yes, we are certainly marginalized, and yes, we are certainly facing a litany of inequities. Fair woman, a Black woman who's at the intersection of race and gender.
Yep.
Somebody coming at your house come kill you when you're asleep. And nobody yet is still responsible for that. You cannot tell me that there's not inequity going on here.
Yep.
And in terms of marginalized, when I thought about it, this question, I went in terms of politics, believe it or not, for this question. Though we have our VP Harris.
Yes.
I thought, you know, if there's a country or a company or an institution that has never had a woman leading them, that women in those spaces are marginalized.
Yes, most definitely.
We don't have a roadmap. I think the first Black woman to run for president was Shirley Chisholm.
Shirley Chisholm.
A white
no guide, no direction, no guide.
No roadmap. And as far as we are concerned in the United States right now, the roadmap as far as we can go to VP Harris. We got that far. Right. But we have yet to break that glass ceiling.
Still shatter it.
Still have to shatter it. We get there. We're knocked on it right now.
Yeah.
Don't break it.
We're knocking. It's cracked, but we still got to get there.
We're still marginalized in certain areas.
Yes. Strong points, Daima. Thank you so much for your input. And we will now go to Jaquel.
Well, I enjoyed listening to everybody, and you know, I enjoyed just your take on it. You know, I agree with Dr. Max about all the isms and everybody else about all the different ways inequalities happening and how we're being marginalized, right? So what I have to say about this as well is that as women, we have to take greater responsibility, work even harder to change the narrative, right? Because there are so many stereotypes of us out there. So we've got to make it known where we want to go in life. We don't do that enough. You know, we go into these interviews and we feel that we have to be 100% ready. So we don't take the risk. We don't take chances as much as the guys do. You know, a man and a woman goes for a job. The guy may know absolutely nothing, but what will he do? I could do it. And he takes a job and go and learn and probably have one of us teach him how to do it. And he's getting the higher pay. Meanwhile, we say, okay, we've got to go back to college. We've got to go take that course. We got to be 100% ready before we dive in there. And so that's something that we definitely have to strengthen. And even the narrative that's out there about a woman is another woman's problem, you know, I've seen the challenges with that.
Yes.
And what I have to say as well for us women in taking more responsibility to work harder to change the narrative as well, because that's the other side of this, is just because someone is winning, another woman's winning in the workplace, doesn't mean that you're losing. You know, like I said before.
Good point.
And you have to be very, very careful and intentional. When you're going for an interview and you're looking at your career, whether it's working for somebody or entrepreneurship, you have to look at where do I want to go? Make it known from the get-go. Don't make any assumptions that because you go in and you work really, really hard, someone's going to see that. And when a promotion comes up, you're going to be called on. So you have to make it known so that you can make a decision about whether this is going to be the right company or right opportunity for me. If it's not going to be progressive as far as embracing a woman and embracing where you'd like to go and working with you to get there, that is not the job for you. That is not the environment. We've also need to build out our network. We've got to work on these sponsors, on these mentors. We need people to speak for us because it's already stacked against us. And I can tell you that a lot of the progress I've made, because hospitality is one of those industries where very few of us are at the top. I went to a conference, and I can tell you, out of this was years ago, but out of 2,500 directors and GMs from around the world, there was 25 of us who were Black, and even fewer women. Okay, and that is still happening, because for me to come from New Jersey to come to work to Bucket, and I was like the first Black director of sales at my hotel in this day and age, and that wasn't so long ago. And I walk in, two of us were starting, one person for front desk, one person for director of sales, and the person at the front desk, you know, she's Black as well. She assumed that I was the front desk person without a question, because that's what they're used to seeing. And so when we get there, we have to help each other along. So this is what I tell everybody. Make it known where you want to go. And you've got to enlist sponsors and mentors. The sponsors are the ones who spoke for me. You know, a general manager who went to bat with the CEO for our company and said, I want Jaquel, I know how she works, because he also had someone else he wanted in that role. You've got to have those people to speak up for you. And so you have to step outside your circle and form these alliances with people who don't look like you, with also guys as well. And when we get the opportunity to perform, and because sometimes we tend to also go back to, you know, hey, I'm a woman, so, you know, there's a little bit of entitlement in certain things. You know, for example, when I worked the front desk, I would show up to work, and I noticed that, this is when I just started there, I noticed that at the hotel, the front desk was one girl and they were all guys. I was the second girl. Notice that as soon as I would go in, they'd say, oh, you can, girls, you can go have a seat in reservations, and we'll go ahead and, you know, we got it. The first time I heard that, I said, no, you go have a seat in reservations. I got it. And I'm going to do it in my stilettos too. So how about that? So, you know, we've got to fight hard for our respect and stand our ground. Anything you can do, I can do it. I can do it better than you. You know that song, right?
Yeah,
and it's a little bit of a competitive spirit. Doesn't always work, but we've got to work even harder in those areas. So that's what I have to say about that.
Jaquel, when you mention forming alliances, and those same persons become our advocates, or we become advocates for others.
Amen.
Exactly. I like that.
Yes.
Before we wrap, thank you, Jaquel. Were you through?
Yes.
Just want to make sure, because I know we're winding down. So before we wrap up, we have another question, and we are going to just get into it real briefly here, ladies. And it's looking ahead. Women are holding more positions of power. Do you feel like women are poised for a takeover? Explain what you're most proud of and more hopeful for as women. So I will just start off with you, Jaquel, and make round.
You know, I wouldn't say this is, I don't look at it as we're poised to take over. I would say we're poised to be the equalizer, or we're poised for equalizing, right? Because the scales are so, starting out, you know, like I said, from way back in the day, so imbalanced. So now there's a little bit more balance, you know, a little bit more of a tipping point. And so that is something that we continue to work on, because now more and more of us are being given the opportunities based on our own merit. And that's all we're looking for, really. At the end of the day, we don't want any favors handed to us because we're a woman. You know, I'll be the first to tell you, don't give it to me because I'm going to be your token woman at this company, your trophy that you're going to say, see, you know, check mark, we did it. No, I don't even want that. I want you to give it to me because I am the best person for the job. So that's really starting to happen. And I'm hopeful that that will continue. I'm hopeful that we'll continue to see more and more women in positions of influence, taking that influence and knowing that we have this challenge to reach back. And that's the thing too, before we get to that seat at the table, let's make a commitment to ourselves and to each other that it's not just about a campaign, you know, for women, but just in general, and make sure that not only in politics, but also in corporate America, in entrepreneurship, when we have these companies and we're employing people, that we're taking a stand and say, I want to make sure this is fair, okay? And that there is equality here, and I'm giving the best person for the job, black or white, male or female, immigrant or non-immigrant, wherever you're from, right? So I'm very encouraged by that. I would also say, let's especially teach our young girls about their conduct and emotions, you know, because sometimes that gets in the way. We're emotional creatures, and no one's going to listen when you start screaming and crying when you want your voice to be heard. This word has been used, you know, you use a lot, that quiet authority. And I love that about Dr. Max, because she's one of those that embody that, I love.
Quiet
so that when you
authority.
open your mouth, quiet authority and adding value, when you open your mouth, they're listening, okay? Because you really have something to say.
Yeah. Thank you. Reverend Max definitely epitomizes that, Jaquel. Next up on this question is Dahima. Dr. Longman, you're next.
I had the same sentiments as Jaquel. I wrote, you know, it's a matter of balance, equity, fairness. I was thinking a takeover of what? You know, what are we taking?
Right.
I think in many ways, you know, manliness is embedded in our culture. And I'll give one small example, if I could explain this as clearly as possible. At the Constitution, all men are created equal. The word man in that sentence is really a stand-in for not only men in terms of the individual, but it's also understood that it applied to women. Even at the time, it wasn't necessarily applied to Black men, much less Black women, much less women, really, right? And so the idea that man, the word man, could stand for both men and women. If it had said all women are created equal, it was only for women. That's only applied for women. But when it says man, we give the privilege of it being both anybody. You know, it's that sense of I guess take over that I'm looking for, in where there's more neutrality in word, in language. If it had said all people, if it had said all individuals, then it takes away that whole masculinity that man carries. And I'm saying that just to say, in terms of takeover, we've been programmed in that way. When you read things and you see man, you can simply apply it to any individual. But if you read things and see woman, you wouldn't apply it to a man. That's only for women. But if you see something for man, that means any living being, right? I would love to see a place where I wrote this, that explain what you're most proud and hopeful for women moving forward. And what I said was that my children as women are leading toward a more gender equal future in terms of salary, access to certain spaces. And as my friend in Jamaica would say, that when she get pulled over by a police and she get a ticket, often get the ticket, in don't ask her for her number as well. What I'm leading toward.
Yeah. Okay. Yahiba, you have me cracking up on that one. So is Rev Max, and she's up next. You are some outstanding woman. I knew we were choosing the right panel. You're proving it so much. Rev Max, you're up on that one.
Well, are we as women poised to take over? Well, after playing second fiddle to the men for so long, I believe we're poised to take center stage. I don't think we're there yet to take over.
Heading to
I
center
don't think
stage.
the boys club is gonna allow, they're gonna be kicking and screaming and fighting to hold on to that power. But I think we're making a lot of strides. I even saw some stats that says by 2030, American women are expected to control much of the $30 trillion in financial asset by the baby boomers. Those are maybe some of our parents, or we're just, right behind them as Generation X. So there's a lot of stride that women are making in the investment arena. We're buying land, we're investing in businesses, taking on big deals and big transactions. And I also learned that the millennial women, they are poised to be the most financially independent generation in history. So, there's a lot of things that we are doing in that space. What am I most proud of? As a woman, I think, coming from a humble beginning in a little district called Erie Castle, St. Thomas, Jamaica, I want to know, ask me where that there. Me not tell her no.
Only the host knows.
No. Being the seventh of 8 children and the first to have gone to high school, the first to have gone through university, the first to have attained the highest level of education, getting a PhD. I'm really proud of that accomplishment, not just for myself, but for my family, overall. And I think I'm most grateful to my mother because she was not an educated woman, but she was a strong, independent, resilient, common sense kind of woman, right? Mm-hmm. She was a Proverbs 31 woman in my eyes. This woman, she didn't just acquire things, she utilizes things. She, a virtuous woman, she leads her home, she leads by integrity, she leads by discipline. And, those things have impacted my life a lot. And, we could have fit the stereotype and we could have become the cycle that continues in our neighborhood, but at an early age, we saw the light at the end of the tunnel, like there is more to what we have here. And so my hope for women as we move forward is to be a Proverbs 31 woman, trustworthy, wise, a hard worker, a good manager, a positive influence, an investor. Proverbs said she saw a field and she bought it. Women been industrious from way back when and trading and in business. A wife of noble character, a loving mother who cares about her beauty, who cares about ourselves. Women, we gotta care about ourselves. We can't let other people define who we are and what we become. That's for us to do. And the most important thing is for a woman that is faithful to God. And I believe if we have all of those things covered, our spiritual, our emotional, and our physical, if all of those are covered, we are going to be a force to reckon with going forward. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you too. Suzette, you're next. Are we taking center stage here?
Well, the thing that came to mind when I read this question, for me, it's before we even think about taking over, we have to be equal. You have to get to that place where you're shoulder to shoulder before you can step forward. And we're nowhere near being equal right now. And I think there needs to be room for that. So there's no attempt to take over. I think there's rather the need for equality, to be treated fairly. We just want fairness, and for people to recognize the importance of equity and equality and recognize that they're different things. Equity and equality are not the same thing. And when equity is needed, that equity is exercised. And when equality is necessary, as it is for women, that it should be exercised as well. Women are the lifeblood of society. And we are more than just caregivers. We're more than mothers. I mean, the human race came into being because of women. And so the knowledge that we have instinctively as members of society, I am happy that we recognize and fight for a place at the table, not just because now it's hip, or it's a nice thing to have women because of equity and inclusion, but rather because we are just as smart as men, because we have the acumen to be leaders, and we're proving that more and more now. As you see women emerge in these non-traditional spaces and are being successful in those areas. What I'm proud of, I'm proud that women are breaking the mold of what is traditional, that they're stepping forward and they're being bold about it. Yes. I'm proud that I had women who encouraged me and mentored me and taught me to be fearless. But I'm also most proud of the fact that women recognize, and Dr. Longman sort of touched on this earlier, that there is such a thing called imposter syndrome, and that we need to recognize it, see it for what it is, and step into more positivity, acknowledge who we are, know what our weaknesses are, and work on those things. And at times when we see those weaknesses in others, to take the step to pull them along and guide them. That's where our mentorship comes in. That's where the encouragement comes in. And as women, we need to recognize that we have to do that. It is our responsibility. It is our responsibility to create the community we want to be a part of. I am especially proud that I'm alive to see a woman from African descent and Asian descent create history by getting into the White House. And I dare say maybe one day that she would be the first female president of the United States. It's something that I hope we can see happen. But if it doesn't, I can say that the opportunity does exist, and that there are little girls that are growing up and seeing this woman, this phenomenal woman, who is now working alongside the president of the United States. I mean, if something were to happen to him, God forbid, tomorrow, she would be president of the United States. And that is huge. And a lot of people don't make that connection. But I want to point out that women are making strides, yes, and I am encouraged by that. But as human beings who have the knowledge, who have the strength, who learn what it is to be rooted into that strength and to be able to exercise that positively, that we need to recognize that if we, and maybe that's where that question came from, do you think we're poised to take over? Maybe not in my lifetime, but if we continue in this trajectory, if we continue to frame our mindset, if we continue to be positive and to use the energy and the knowledge that we have in a way that continues to shape society in a way that we can have growth, not growth just economically, but growth in wealth of knowledge and innovation. Women can move forward and be shoulder to shoulder. That's all we're asking for. Equality. Jaquel said it earlier. We just want to be treated equally and to balance things out. And I think we have an opportunity to do that if we continue to push forward together. And I am proud of the fact that I can witness that. And I hope that when I'm old and my teeth are falling out, that I can witness the women that are coming behind me, standing forward and really continuing to do phenomenal things. So I'll end it there. Thank you very much for allowing me to get that out.
Thank you, dear. I am about to wrap up. And before I express how very happy Wayne and I are to have you ladies on the platform, any final thought as I make the round back. Suzette?
First of all, thank you very much for pulling this panel together. As I said before, I've had the opportunity to work with these women, and they are just bosses in their own right. And I am so humbled and honored to share this platform with them. I hope to work with them again in the future. But I also want to say that I think it's so important, not just because it's Women's History Month, but for us to truly recognize who people are in our community who are making impact, whether you're male or female. And I just want to say for all of these women that they do make an impact in the community, and that we have a responsibility to share their work with the rest of the world, and for also for all of us to embrace others so that, again, we can be a part of the community we want to see and to help build that community.
Thank you, thank you. Any final thought, Jaquel? Thanks, Suzette.
What happens when you bring women together?
This
is how we're going to change the world, or keep changing the world. So just whenever there is, oh, you know, you're all fighting against each other, or this internal fight going on with women, this is what sisterhood does. It's just been a phenomenal time for me spending with you ladies this evening. And, you know, COVID has isolated us, so it even presents a greater challenge. And so that's why it's even more important for us as women to do community and do it well, so we can keep making this progress and supporting each other in every way that we can.
Great, thank you. Dahima, Dr. Longman, any final thoughts?
Yes, as an educator, I was a student tonight. So thank you, ladies, for allowing me to be part of your brilliance and, you know, funds of knowledge and just fellowship. That's what this is, a community, you know. I really love this mentorship program. So all I want to know is my mentor. I am that you asked for me to be a part of this. You really don't know how much you're taking me out of my shell, forcing me to be brave enough to take on challenges such as being on platforms like.
And you're being excellent at it.
And so it's a great way for me to curb myself of this imposter syndrome that that Suzanne talked about. Suzette, I'm sorry, talked about. And I'm doing so one day at a time, to where I know my authentic, true, and genuine voice can be heard, so I can continue to advocate on women who look and sound like me.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. Reverend Max, as we continue to pave the way, your final thoughts, please.
Thank you so much to you and Wayne. Wayne, big up yourself. I appreciate you guys, you know, giving us this forum for us to speak. I hope that, you know, the women who, especially, and the men as well, who were joining this evening, you know, have some food for thoughts. And you know, it's just amazing that, gosh, look my way, people from Jamaica, you know, all the way from Jamaica, we came here, and look at us now. And gosh, when you think about what would our life have been, maybe had we stayed, maybe, you know, if we had not leave out of our environment. But I'm thankful, and I know all these ladies on this line, we all work together, we are giving back to Jamaica, we're giving back to our communities here, and we will continue to do that. And thank you all. It's lovely to see Uno. We don't have no events to meet up. But thank God, we're still here, and we have Zoom.
The virtual meetup, Reverend Max.
Yes, thank you.
You all did so well. Thank you. And before I hand it over back to Wayne, I'd just like to say, on behalf of the Wayne Hall Show, it was my pleasure indeed to have you on tonight. And all I can say is, we keep doing what we're doing. I know this was a very big treat for our viewers and our listeners to the platform. I certainly learned a lot just from us conversing. And I know when you ladies got the questions and you saw the provoking words and those engaging words, that's exactly what Wayne and I wanted. That was the goal. To just what you gave, just what you delivered is what we were looking for. And again, this was the right panel. Thank you. Have a nice Easter and good night. This is Jannice O'Shea, your moderator for tonight. I was happy to be the media host. Wayne, thank you so much for the opportunity. And we kick it right back to Mr. Wayne Hall. Thanks, ladies. Have a great weekend. Bun and cheese. Fish.
If I had paid money to come into an event like this, after about 30 minutes, I would go out and pay and come back in again.
Agree, Wayne. Agree.
You ladies are awesome tonight.
You still have time, Wayne. You still have time.
I could still go out and pay and come back.
I'm going to put him out and collect at the gate.
I don't think I could pay enough times for this.
No,
Ladies,
Mr. Hall, I may hold you to that, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm so appreciative, and I do believe you deserve a round of applause.
We're clapping ourselves. Suzette, send him an invoice.
You know what? The devil's a liar, you know, because my applause button.
This was great.
It's not playing. But anyhow, ladies and gentlemen. No, gentlemen, sorry. In the audience.
Well, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, made this possible.
Ladies,
big engineer again.
Thoroughly enjoyed this. And before you go, I just like to share some of what the social media world is saying. First of all, thanks to everyone who's listening. Fresh FM Radio London, HypeFM Radio, Clarke TV Network, islandworldwide.com, reggaevibesradio.com, viscosityblend.com, and those on the waynallshow.com. I also see we have viewers on YouTube and on Facebook and Instagram. Oh my goodness, my engineer has us everywhere tonight. Lord
we
have
are
mercy.
all over.
So just say, Rochelle Forbes, thank you, ladies. Marco Polo, talented woman, says Michelle Hanniford Hall. Pay up, Wayne All, says Yannick Taylor. Ursula Johnson says, wonderful conversation, ladies. Yes, awesome, says Michelle. Awesome job, ladies, says Andrea Brown McNeish. Wonderful conversation, says Yannick Taylor. Excellent job, Janice. Hyacinth Douglas says, great discussion. All right, it's really flowing in, ladies. And that's right there. Big up to our wonderful mothers. They taught us well, said Val Ferguson. Oh my gosh. Listen, it goes on. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful display of power by these women tonight.
There you got it.
I hadn't forgotten. I learned that word.
Yes, Suzette, power.
Jamshan, power with the H, P-O-W-H-E-R.
Yes.
F-U-L-L-L-L-L-L. Okay, stop, Wayne.
Wayne.
Yes.
I would be remiss if I don't say a big thank you to our advertisers and sponsors. I know you have been doing that over the past hour, but just coming from me tonight, thanks again to the sponsors of the show, sponsors of the platform.
Right. Okay, so ladies, we're at a crucial point where women leadership is so quintessential to where we go from here. And it's your passion tonight is not unnoticed. I can't wait to edit this one and just have it out there for folks to learn and be motivated and inspired from what you said tonight. Again, women have played intricate roles in my personal development in life, and I have nothing but admiration. I'm very comfortable with women leading me. I am one male with 20 females in my department at work. The only male, but it never ever affects how I relate and what I do. I just love it. Women leadership is great. It doesn't mean that you don't draw strength from us, the men. Okay, don't forget that. All right. Enough said. Ladies, thank you so much again, and all the best in all you do. Continue to be strong, firm, and exemplary in our community. Have a great
Thank you.
evening.
Thanks, Wayne.
Welcome.
Good night, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Remember, remarkable woman, you can always share for those who were not able to make the live. The replay will be up.
Okay,
Alright.
great. I'll
Let
put
me
it on
take
our,
care of that.
yeah, and I'll put it on one of JamCham's platform, whatever it is. We'll
Thank you.
Okay.
I know you ladies will get it out there. Help
And,
us.
yeah.
and Jannice, well done.
Yes,
You?
absolutely.
And thanks to you too.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so Janice
Appreciate
mentioned
everyone.
sponsors. We're gonna go right on over into a break. And I got some music and an infotainment report coming your way here on the Wayne Hall Show this evening. So, as the ladies make their way out of the studios, I'm gonna get into a short break,
Bye,
and we'll be
ladies.
back with
Women
Jannice
power.
O'Shea with the Caribbean Infotainment Report.
Thank
Bye
you
now.
both. Thanks, ladies.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Victoria Mutual Building Society is opening the door to more financial opportunities in Jamaica for you with our VMBS representative office in Florida. We're pleased to give Jamaicans and Caribbean nationals easy access to our full range of financial solutions, including savings products at competitive rates and opportunities for home ownership. Call us today at 305-770-2643 or visit us at the Sienna Shops, Miramar.
Caribbean International Shipping Services is your one-stop shop for all your shipping needs. Conveniently located at 3048 Miller Road, Lithonia, Georgia. We know all about the Caribbean and cargo. Our wide range of services includes weekly ocean and air services, empty barrels and boxes for sale, packing and crating, specialized returning resident services, personal and commercial shipping, door-to-door, local delivery and pickup, money transfers, and shop and ship. With services by land, air, and sea. You need to call Caribbean International Shipping Services today at 770-323-1111 or visit their website at info@mycaribship.com. At Caribbean International Shipping, we know all about the Caribbean and cargo.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Blanc. I am a mortgage broker and attorney at law for more than 21 years. My entire life has been dedicated to the real estate industry. So stop dreaming about buying that property. Let my ability to secure financing within as little as 11 days work for you. For that best rate, fast close financing option, call 1-800-466-0664. That's 1-800-466-0664. Or visit rapidmortgageloans.me. Visit rapidmortgageloans.me for your pre-approval and to request a quote for financing. Thank you.
I'm Dead, Now What? I'm Dead, Now What is a must-read that chronicles the experience of laying a loved one to rest in Jamaica. I'm Dead, Now What is a true life experience of the ups and downs of coordinating a funeral. It tells of the drama, the stress, money worries, and all the unexpected that rises when a person dies. I'm Dead, Now What is a great combination of storytelling and advice. It is humorous, witty, and helpful. Get your copy of I'm Dead, Now What today at Amazon.com, CreateSpace.com, and www.IamDeadNowWhat.com. Join the author, Wayne Hall, as he navigates the inevitable aspect of life. I'm Dead, Now What is also available on Kindle and in French.
That's right. Hello, my friends. Thank you for sticking with us on the Wayne Hall Show this evening. What a conversation. How do I even have a show after that, man? I don't know how to beat that or even walk after that, but we'll try.
Western Union is here for you. Available 24/7. The Western Union app and website will let you send money from the comfort of your home straight to your loved ones. With Western Union, you can send money to all commercial banks in Jamaica. For fast and convenient service, tell your receiver in Jamaica to register their bank account by visiting gkmsonline.com or the nearest Western Union location to receive money directly into their bank accounts. For more information, call 305-608-6325. Services may be provided by Western Union Financial Service Inc. NMLS number 906983 and or Western Union International Services LLC NMLS number 906985, which are licensed as money transmitters by the New York State Department of Financial Services. See terms and conditions for details.
Since I've got your attention, I could tell you feeling me. We've got love and affection. I just love the chemistry. I love the way you give me hope like no one has ever did. I thank the Lord for this harmony, beautiful soul He blessed me with. Finally found the woman of my dreams. I think I finally found the one who cared for me. I finally found woman of my dreams. I think I finally found the one who cared for me. Yes, I did give up in the love cause I too many hurt. But ever since me meet this woman, everything I work. And the way she fit me right is like my favorite shirt. And now she keep me grounded in her. Cause I never know I had such love inside me. Well, respect you to you highly. Woman, not just the way you treat me right, the way you love me and guide me. I'm glad that you're standing beside me. Finally found the woman of my dreams. I think I finally found the one who cared for me. Finally found the woman of my dreams. I think I finally found the one who cared for me. This woman, she full up her beauty and class. Compliment her on her beauty and class. I know that the outside beauty can cost, but a lifetime the inside beauty will last. I know that sex is a factor, but this woman is a woman with character. I've heard the worst woman was what I'm after. Now if she had the verse, I said me at the chapter. Finally found the woman of my dreams. I think I finally found the one who cared for me. Finally found the woman of my dreams.
The group called Crisis.
Found the one who
Not Righteous, Imar Shepherd, and Aya Sight. This one called Finally Found. Want to say big shout out to Peter Augustus. How are you, Peter? Zandria Edwards, Rochelle Forbes, Hyacinth Douglas, Heather Mowat Allen. Good evening, everyone. Andrea Chen, Marco Polo, Val Ferguson, Yannick Taylor, Michelle Hall. Oh my goodness. Everyone on the feed, everyone on Instagram as well as on all our other platforms. Making our way up till the hour right here. Inside the mix now on the Wayne Hall Show.
Oh, baby, it's time I represent you. Would you dance if I ask you to dance? I can be your hero, baby. Yeah, this is the impeccable Imar Shepherd, and you're locked onto the We and All show. At sits up, Imar Shepherd.
Gotta shout out Carol Brown Mackenzie. Big thumbs up from J.A. Big up J.A.
If I ask you to dance,
Woo!
would you run and never look back? Would you cry if you saw me crying? Would you save my soul tonight? Would you tremble if I touch your lips? Would you laugh? Oh, please tell me this. No, would you die for the one you loved? Hold me in your arms tonight. I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. I will stand by you forever. You can take my breath away. You swear that you always be mine. Would you lie? Would you run and hide? Am I in too deep? Have I lost my mind? Well, I don't care. You're here tonight. Yeah. I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. I will stand by you forever. You can take my breath away.
You are listening to All Show,
searched
where
all my
information meets music,
for someone like you to hold on to. And though I've been real close,
The sound of the barren music.
I could break through
Diamond in the rough.
to get to you. So many thoughts of giving up that search for.
Don't forget every Tuesday to check out Rupee T the blender.
Till like a diamond you came shining straight through.
8 to 10 on the Waynall Network.
Now I'm secure.
Go to LTU Media, download the app and listen, okay?
Through changes.
That's LTU Media, listen to us media.
Ooh, that
Download the app.
really rough. All my life I've been through changes, and the way has been tough, really tough. I've only dreamed one day I would find that diamond in the rough, Lord. One day I'll find that diamond in the rough. Some say dreams don't come true, and so they don't plan. No, they don't plan. You see, changes after changes make it so hard understand all that you have to sacrifice in order to achieve. This ain't no make-believe. You got to hold on to your dream, no matter how hard life seems. All my life I've been through changes, and the road has been rough, really tough. All my life I've been through changes, and the way has been tough, really tough. I dreamed one day I would find.
That's right.
Diamond in the rough.
Diamond in the rough, Devare.
Oh, I only dream one day.
That's one day you dream you find a diamond in the rough, and everybody needs to find that diamond in the rough. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you saw her earlier on the Zoom, and she was the greatest host ever of this great panel discussion on women, the state of women. And talking about none other than Miss Jannice O'Shea. Jannice is on the line with tonight's Caribbean Infotainment Report, delayed, but for all the right reasons. Jannice, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Wayne. How come you still have this cheerful energy? How do you do it, Mr. Hall? Good evening again, everyone. And for those of you who may have missed the discussion for Women's History Month, you know you will have an opportunity to view it and listen to it again, to the replay.
That's
so
right.
Thanks again, Wayne. Thank you. And let's just get right into the Caribbean Infotainment Report. I'm Jannice O'Shea, each and every week on the Wayne Hall Show. We're starting off with Easter Praises. It's an evening of gospel, folk culture, and it's with the New Creation Generation International Group alongside Joan Myers. It's a virtual event, and the patron for that event is none other than the Consul General of New York, Ms.
Okay. Lost you there for a moment, Jannice. Are you there? All right. We're waiting for Jannice to get back on. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize because we're in the middle of the Caribbean Infotainment Report, and you know it's technology, right? We lost Jannice there. So hopefully, if you're hearing me, Jannice, we lost you. Let me see something here. Can you hear me? No, she's not hearing us. All right, Jannice, we're not hearing you. So if you could get back to us, that would be great. We will just continue until I hear back from Jannice. All right? Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's play a little bit. Let's continue with the music, right? Right here on the Wayne Hall Show. I got a request from a lady named Michelle. It goes like this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, she is back. Without further ado, Jannice.
Thanks, Wayne. I apologize for that break. I ended with St. Andrew Technical. Was that the one?
You pretty much had just finished the first event and was getting into the second one.
Oh, so which one is that? Okay, let me back up. Cornwall College?
Right, you could start.
Okay, thank you. Cornwall College Atlanta alumni, their fundraiser that we have been telling you about on the platform is this Saturday. It starts at 7 p.m. It's a big fundraiser that will feature some performers, including A.J. Brown, the famous A.J. Brown out of Jamaica. And among the three DJs is our local DJ right here in the A. DJ Extreme will also be on that one. St. Andrew Technical High School alumni, their event will be on Saturday the 10th. And we will have more for you on that. Wayne, these are all virtuals, but I think we are getting where we will be seen face to face again. So we'll talk about the vaccine next time.
All right.
Saturday the 24th, the St. Hughes Girls Alumna, their fundraiser will be that last Saturday in April. And again, we will give you more details. Tonight is a short, brief Caribbean Infotainment Report. I'm just going with what time allows, Wayne.
And
we end with, go ahead, Wayne.
No, continue.
Okay, we end with the food box distribution. And this continues. This one will be in Marietta this Saturday, being presented by the Lions International of Georgia, FOTC, which is Friends on the Corner, and the Atlanta Jamaican Association. It will be held at Acts 2 Community Church, 1951 Canton Road. That's 1951 Canton Road in Marietta. It's from truck to trunk, fresh produce, among other items. So if you are not able to use a box, there is always the blessing to be a blessing. You may pick up your box, drive through, get a box or two, and donate it to someone in need. Outside of the bun and cheese and the fried fish, Wayne, what else do we have before you close off tonight?
I just think we should end on the bun and cheese and we have some greater cake and gizzard.
Yes, there you go. That's the dessert.
I tell you what, Jannice. By the way, let me just back up and say well done with the hosting and handling of that panel, man. Oh, you know, great panels need great hosts, and
thank you.
So thank you for that. All right.
Yep. It puts the icing on the cake, right, Wayne?
Yes.
But what I have to say to you, Wayne, is how happy I am when you brought it up in conversation. Just simply, why don't you host? It's women. I don't have to speak. I'll be the engineer the first hour, and that's where it was born. Yes. And look where we are. Great minds think alike, Wayne.
Great show.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Well done. Not a lot going on other than you've said, Jannice, for me to mention.
Okay.
We still have time for some stuff coming up, but I think
and spring break is around the corner for most people.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up because we will not be doing a live show next week. We will definitely find something to replay, but next week the Wayne Hall show will not be live, but there will be a Wayne Hall show airing. Okay, so
yes, good. We'll
have a repeat going on.
Wayne, you know what just came to mind as you said that? Just to recap what you allowed and what the platform allowed this evening, just highlighting women.
Yes.
On the final day of Women's History Month was so good. I have to go back to that. That brief travel back in history, conversing on powerful women in the world and powerful women of today's time.
Yes.
More importantly, what's going on now.
Right.
I really enjoyed it. We covered business and politics, power positions, gender bias, inequality, just women empowering women.
I mean, yeah, the names.
And I gotta say,
the names that came out, man, is awesome. Truly awesome.
Exactly, and I think just preparing for this, and just the way it was handled, not just by the platform, but by our panelists, our guests, they were highly professional, highly knowledgeable, and it was so clear how prepared they were after we submitted what the discussion would be about.
Yes, that went really well, and I'm happy that in our little community we can host a CNN-like. CNN-like discussion.
We went there.
Of course. We've been compared to Anderson Cooper, so why not say CNN?
Yeah, exactly. Why not CNN? if we do say so ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's good.
With,
Okay, well,
with humility.
yeah, exactly. It's all for our community. And action breeds confidence. And that's exactly what we did with this tonight. And I could tell how relaxed the ladies were. They were just, they were in their element.
Yes, ma'am.
And
you all were.
All 5 of us were.
Yes,
All right. Thanks, Wayne. What time is it? Is the show
6 minutes to wrap up? Yeah, 6 more minutes.
Okay. Well, everyone, before you speak, Wayne, let me just say happy Easter again to you and your family and to everyone else on the platform. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on the WayneHallShow.com and on Instagram. Thanks again for all the sponsors that you see on the screen.
That's right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, man. We will be in touch.
Happy
Thank
Easter,
you.
Jannice. All right.
Oh, thanks. You too.
Okay. All right. That's Miss Jannice O'Shea, our very dedicated, committed, never really absent host of Caribbean Infotainment Report right there. And what a great job hosting earlier. Garfield McCook, thank you. Big up yourself, Mr. McCook. All right. Yeah, man. And Carol Brown Mackenzie down there in JA. Bless up, my brother. Thank you, Dr. Foster. All right. We appreciate you taking part. Okay. Everyone who checked out the Wayne Hall Show tonight, man. Big up. Bless up. Like I said, I have a request. It goes like this.
People are gonna talk about this love that we found, and all the people gonna try to get you down. But I don't care what people say, I'm gonna love you anyway. Oh, I don't care about the games they play, 'cause this your love is here to stay. Oh, I don't care what people say, something to say. And it don't matter what you do, they're gonna talk anyway.
Okay, Michelle, I hope you're happy now.
And if them come in your yard, just run them out. 'Cause I don't care what people say, I'm gonna love you anyway. Oh, I don't care about the games they play, 'cause this your love is here to stay. And all the haters gonna hate, that's what haters do. So all the hate they gonna hate, don't let it get to you. They gonna do what they wanna do, so just do what pleases you. Long as you know your love is true, I won't leave, I'm gonna stay right here with you. 'Cause I don't care what people say, I'm gonna love you anyway. Oh, I don't care about the games they play, 'cause this your love is here to stay. No, I don't care what people say, I'm gonna love you anyway. Oh, I don't care about the games they play, 'cause this your love is here to stay. People are gonna talk about this love that we found, and all the people gonna try to get you down. But I don't care what people say, I'm gonna love you anyway. Oh, I don't care about the games they play, 'cause this your love is here to stay. No, I don't care what.
That's right, the son of Devare right here on the Wayne Hall Show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. This is where we say live and let love. Don't forget, the only way to start at the top is if you're digging a hole. Always look around for something great and praise it. Okay? Okay, good. Walk good, be grateful, and see you next time. Closing with China Nicole. Let it be for justice. I've not played me my favorite song in a long time, man. Don't forget to catch her tomorrow night, 7 to 11 on Listen to Us Media, the Wayne Hall Network. All right? Download the app or call us. Call on your phone and listen, okay? There's a number to call. I'll post that shortly. But thank you so much for listening, guys. Whatever you do, wherever you go, let it be for justice. C.R. Rendell, pick up yourself and Christine.
It is time for us to make
Bless up, Christine.
the fighting. One love, one unity, got to break the bondage.
Greetings, Aymar. Bless up.
Borders around me.
China
No more
Nicole.
mental slavery.
Peace out, Carmen.
Marley said it best, stand together and feel alright. But if we fight, let it be for justice. And if we war, let it be for justice. At all costs, let it be for justice.
Thanks to my viewers on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook Live. Listeners on HypeFM, The Right FM, Clarke TV Network, IslandWorldwide.com, Reggae Vibes Radio, Viscosity Blend, TheWayneHallShow.com. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great night.
Disparities and violence, oppression, racism, no, I won't.
Bless up, Adrian.
No more barriers for we will thrive, prosperity.
Mr. Mac, Adrian McKenzie down there in J. Hayes.
Can free your minds, but if we fight, let it be for justice. And if we war, let it be for justice. At all costs, let it be for justice. Do what is right.
I'm dead, now what? I'm Dead Now What is a
My name is
must-read
Jennifer
that
A.
chronicles
Blanc.
the experience
I'm
of laying a loved one
mortgage
to rest
broker
in
and
Jamaica.
attorney at law for more
I'm
than
Dead Now
21
What is a
years.
true life
My
experience
entire
of the
life
ups
has
and
been
downs of
dedicated
coordinating
to
a few.
the real estate industry. So stop dreaming about buying that property. Let my ability to secure financing within as little as 11 days work for you. For that best rate, fast close financing option, call 1-800-466-0664. That's 1-800-466-0664. Or visit rapidmortgageloans.me. Visit rapidmortgageloans.me for your pre-approval and to request a quote for financing. Thank you.
Caribbean International Shipping Services is your one-stop shop for all your shipping needs. Conveniently located at 3048 Miller Road, Lithonia, Georgia. We know all about the Caribbean and cargo. Our wide range of services includes weekly ocean and air services, empty barrels and boxes for sale, packing and crating, specialized returning resident services, personal and commercial shipping, door-to-door, local delivery and pickup, money transfers, and shop and ship. With services by land, air, and sea, you need to call Caribbean International Shipping Services today at 770-323-1111 or visit their website at info@mycaribship.com. At Caribbean International Shipping, we know all about the Caribbean and cargo.
Victoria Mutual Building Society is opening the door to more financial opportunities in Jamaica for you with our VMBS representative office in Florida. We're pleased to give Jamaicans and Caribbean nationals easy access to our full range of financial solutions, including savings products at competitive rates and opportunities for home ownership. Call us today at 305-770-2000